Hello, my dear friend. This is Mr. Z, your math coach. Right here, I'm trying to give you a quick review of simple dosage calculation. We're not gonna review nothing for dosage calculation based on the kilogram of the body weight. We're not gonna review nothing about infusion rate here, nothing about the body surface area, but just a simple dosage calculation. Now, anytime the doctor prescribes something and you need to find out the med that you're going to give, now you're gonna find yourself you're gonna find yourself with two type of medication. A medication can be either a solid medicine or it can be a liquid medication. All right, solid medicine or liquid medication. But regardless, you are dealing with a solid medication or your liquid medication. So if you are gotta look for your dosage, my dear friend, this is how you're gonna do your dosage. Your dosage always gonna be what the doctor prescribed. You're going to divide that by what is available, and then you're gonna multiply that by quantity. So O stand for your order, A stand for available, Q stand for quantity. Two type of medication you're going to deal with. The reason I want to emphasize on these two type of medication, it's because the quantity right here, it will be different. Either you have a liquid medicine or a solid medication. So let me put right here, dear friend. Let's see. All right, so let's put it this way. So let's draw a little table right here. And then here we're going to call the quantity. Okay, and here we call solid and we call liquid. So the quantity for a solid medication always gonna be 1. This quantity right here, the Q stands for quantity. How you will know this is a solid medication? Anytime they ask you how many tablets, how many capsules, how many caplet would you give? A liquid medication is whenever they ask you how many milliliter. So the liquid medication right here, the quantity is going to be whatever number is beside, right here, is beside milliliter. So if you have a milli or per milliliter, the quantity always going to be 1. So let's look at one of the examples. But before we get there, I want to remind you quick that this order and available, they have to belong to the same family. They have to have the same unit. So if the doctor prescribes something in a milligram, your available must be in a milligram. All right. If the doctor prescribes something in a gram, you want your available to be in a gram as well. Or you can convert the order to match whatever unit you have in your available. So available is something that you have. You have that in your hand. Something that you have available. It's not something that you are looking for. What you are looking for, that's going to be your order. So let's think about this. If you take your daughter to go see a doctor, and then the doctor say your daughter has a fever. So when you get home, I want you to give your daughter 500 milligram of Tylenol. Okay, this is what the doctor said. But you remember, okay, at home, well, I do have 1,000 milligram of Tylenol. You see? The 500 milligram, that's what the doctor prescribed. But at home, you remember, 1 second, I have a 1000 milligram. So you have a rum 1000 milligram of Tylenol. Okay? So this what you have in your possession. This is what we call available. The doctor prescribed 500 milligram Tylenol. But at home, you have a 1000 milligram Tylenol tablet. It means 1000 milligram Tylenol is what you have in your hand. That is your available. The 500 milligram, that what the doctor prescribed. So the question is how many tablets you're going to give. You see, you just going to go your order. That's what the doctor prescribed, which is going to be 500 milligram. Divide that by what is available, which is 1000 milligram. But remember, do you see right here that the unit for your order and the unit for your available match? That's what I say earlier. It has to belong to the same family. You gotta make sure all of this unit match because they have to cancel out. Well, but what about the quantity? We say your quantity always going to be 1 for a solid medication. But how you will know this is a solid medication? Whenever you are looking how many tablets, how many capsule, how many caplet. Okay? It means you just, if you are looking tablet, you just multiply that by 1 tablet. So in that way, this milligram and milligram is going to cancel out. So here 500 divided by 1000, we have 0.5 tablet, which is half tablet. All right. So for a liquid medication, look at this question here. The physician ordered 4 milligram of ondansetron IV. 4 milligram. The supply is 2 milligram slash 1 milliliter. You see that? 2 milligram slash 1 milliliter. How many milliliter do you give? That right there, my friend, you are dealing with a liquid medication. All right. So this bundle right here, this bundle, they always go together. This bundle. So the 2 milligram, this is what we call available. The 1 milliliter, this is what we call quantity. So your available and your quantity in any exercise always going to run together. You're never going to separate them. Anytime you're dealing with the liquid medicine, your available and quantity will run side by side. This is what we call concentration. This 1 milliliter can be 10 milliliter. It can be 2 milliliter. So whatever number is beside milliliter, that is your quantity. Then if you don't see no number, then say 2 milligrams slash milliliter, you know your quantity is 1. So in this question right here, we're going to do, think about that. Your order right there equal 4 milligram. My available, which is 2 milligram, you see, it has to have the same unit. And your quantity right there equal 1 milliliter. So based on what we learned, your order divided by available times quantity. So we're going to do 4 milligram, you see, all right, over 2 milligram, multiply that by 1 milliliter. So you know, this milligram will cancel out. 4 divided by 2. So here, we're going to have a 2 milliliter. Does it make sense? Remember, dear friend, that you are available and your quantity always run together. Don't forget that one. Your available and quantity always goes together. All right? So let's look at this one here. We're going to look at this problem. You see? So which one is your order? 60 milligram. Which one is your available? 10 milligram. And your quantity is right there. So you, in this exercise, you're going to do 60. Just make sure I got milligram, my available milligram. 60 you divide that by 10, and you multiply that by 1 milliliter. 60 divided by 10 they give you 6. Times 1 you got 6. So right here is gonna be 6 milliliter. Let's look at the other one. Okay. Remember I told you earlier, anytime your order and your available gotta have the same unit. Alright? So I'm gonna go ahead and erase this part right here so we can have room to practice. Those stuff are not hard. It just require you take advantage, practice. Math require a lot of practice, my friend. If you don't practice, you'll be stressed for no reason. So look at that one. This patient needs 0.25 milligram of digoxin, IV 4 times a day. The ampule, it contains 500 microgram slash 2 milliliter. The question is, how many milliliter are required per dose? I just want to remind you something. Anytime you solve for a dosage calculation, you always going to do that as a single dose. Even though they say the doctor prescribed this 4 times a day, 6 times a day, or 3 times a day, that frequency means nothing unless right here the question is asked about what would you give in terms of a day. So anything that is asking what would you give per dose, you're not going to use that frequency of 4 times a day unless right here they ask you what would you give per day. So let's look at here. You know your order right there, it's what? 0.25 milligram. So you can see the ampule contain 500 microgram. We talk about that. This bundle, it's your available and quantity. So your available will never gonna be in the milliliter. Your available gonna be same family as your order. So your available 500 microgram. Your quantity right there, it's what? It's 2 ml. You see? But what did I say? This and that one have to have the same unit. I got microgram, I got milligram. So I can decide either to bring microgram to milligram by divide the 500 by 1000, or I can get milligram, I push that to microgram and multiply by 1000. So I'm gonna push that one to microgram. I'm gonna multiply this right here by 1000. So once you do that, your order going to become 250 microgram. All right, you see? So now I got microgram there. So the way I solve my setup, dosage equal order, my order become 250. You see? 250 microgram. Divide that by your available, which is 500 microgram, and then I'm going to multiply that by my quantity. This is this number right here, 2 milliliter. All right, so once you do 250 divided by 500, you got 0.5. When you multiply by 2, so you have 1 milliliter. Does it make sense? But don't go make a mistake of getting 1 milliliter, multiply QID, meaning 4 times a day. You go multiply this by 4, so your answer can be 4 milliliter. No. You cannot do that. Because the question is asking you, what would you give per dose? They don't have to tell you per dose. They can just say how many milliliter the nurse will administer. It means the same thing. But if the question was how many milliliter are required per day, now because 1 milliliter we are giving that per dose and you are giving that 4 times a day, if the question was asking you how many milliliter you require per day. Now you're going to multiply the 1 milliliter by 4 to have 4 milliliter per day. But because the question is per dose, your answer is going to be 1 milliliter. All right. So now let's this session is intended to someone that have already learned about dosage calculation. You've already learned about conversion. You've already learned about dosage calculation, and you need just a quick review. All right, so let's go down there. We're gonna do a lot of exercise, and we're gonna do that quick because you are smart. All right, let's look at this number right here. So the doctor ordered what? 500 milligram of metformin. You see, the medication contained a 250 milligram tablet. How many tablets? You see, this is a solid. So you know your quantity will be 1. So this is your order right there. And this is your available. You see? So the doctor prescribed a 500 milligram. So here you will do 500. Let me erase this thing. So right here, you will do 500 milligram divided by what? By 250. And then the answer will be 2 tablets. Let's look at here. You see, you got milligram, you got microgram. You cannot move that way. You got to make sure they have the same unit. Because my available is a microgram, I can multiply this right here by 1,000. And once you do that, your new order will become 125 microgram. So 125 microgram, that's what the doctor prescribed. The available bottle contain 125 microgram. That one is your available. So you're going to do your order, which is 125 microgram divided by your quantity, divided by your available, which is 125 microgram as well. And you will give 1 tablet. Let's move on to the next one. So you see, I got 1 gram there, TID, 500 milligram. Anytime you see frequency, come look at here. You see, here, the question is asking me what I'm going to give daily. So I'm going to take into consideration this frequency right there, which is 3 times a day. So I have a choice. Either I'm going to push my order to a daily value that become a 3 gram, or if I want it, I can wait at the end, multiply my single answer by 3. So here we're going to multiply at the end. So because I got 1 gram, I got 500 milligram, I'm going to push this to milligram. That will become 1 gram equal 1,000. But Mr. Z, how do you know? Well, as I say, this is intended to someone that have already learned the conversion. So 1,000 milligram, 1 gram equal 1,000 milligrams. So the available is there. So you will do your order, which goes 1,000 milligram. So you will divide that by your available, which is 500 milligram. So once you do that, now you're going to have 2 tablets. But because we are looking what we're going to give per day, and then we are giving that 3 times in 1 day, you'll multiply that by 3, and your answer is going to be 6 tablets. Let's move on here. See, we are looking 1 day. So right here, because we are looking at daily value, at this time, I'm not going to multiply at the end. I just make sure I got milligram available. Good. A physician order, you see that 20 milligram of famotidine. The pharmacy send 40 milligram, you see. So the doctor would want to know how many tablets you will give, you see. So 20 milligram, we are giving that Q12 hours. But because they ask me what I'm going to give in 1 day, I can go ahead, take what the doctor prescribed to its daily value. I multiply that by 2. So my order will become 40 milligram. I'm going to divide that by my available, which is 40 milligram. So by doing like that, in one day, I'm gonna give one tablet. You see that? Let's move on here. The next one. The, the physician prescribes 75 every 6 hours. You see that? But because right here, I'm looking a single dose, that 6 hours will mean nothing to me. I look at what I have available is 25 milligram. You need the milligram, you need the milligram. So my dosage equal my order, which is 75 milligram. I'm gonna divide that by my available, which is 25 milligram. So and because I know it's a solid medication, the quantity will be 1. So I don't have to worry. I do my order divide by 25 milligram and multiply that by 1. So I have 3 tablets right here. So let's look at next one. The doctor prescribed a 0.5 milligram. The available is 0.25. The doctor prescribes 3 times a day. But because I'm looking something which is a single dose, that frequency will mean nothing to me. It means my answer is going to be as a single dose that you're going to give that 3 times. Anytime you go give the med, you give that as a single dose. Even though they ask you what would you give in one day, it does not mean whenever you go give that medication, you're going to give all the doses at one time. No. So my order, 0.5 milligram. So I'm going to divide that by my available, which is 0.25 milligram. But you know, my friend, the quantity is already 1. So I don't want to go where I divide everything. So this one is going to be 2 tablets. I move on here at 300 milligram of gabapentin. The capsule is 100. So you see, I'm looking capsule. This is a solid medication. So my order, make sure I got milligram. Then I got milligram there. So I'm going to have a 300 milligram, which is my order. I'm going to divide that by my available. You always will get your order, divide that by your available, times 1 quantity. So I have 3 capsules. You always going to get your order divided by available. Net your available divided by your order. No. So the order read 50 milligram of aspirin, but you have a home 325. So the order read. So that one is your order. See that? 650 milligram, that is your order, divided by your available, which is 325 milligram. Time 1 tablet, you have 2 tablets. Next one, the doctor prescribed 15 milligram. The available is 30 milligram. A score tablet is a tablet that you can break in half. So what the doctor prescribed is 15 milligram. 15 milligram. I make sure if you have a milligram there, you want to have a milligram there. So I'm going to divide this by 30 milligram, which is my available, multiply that by 1, and then you're going to have a half tablet, 0.5 tablet. All right, next one. So here, you see, we are looking what we're going to give in 24 hours, which is the same thing as what would you give per day. In one day, what would you give daily? What would you give each day? What would you give in one day? What would you give per 24 hours? You just know all those different verbiage. It means a daily value. So I got 0.1 milligram, but right here I got microgram. Be careful. You cannot do 0.1 go divided by 100 microgram. No. You got to make sure milligram and microgram, you got to change one of them. So I'm going to move my order. I got milligram to get to microgram. I multiply that by 1,000. So once I do, my order will become 100 microgram. You see that? And your available is 100 microgram. So once I do 100 microgram, which is my order, I divide that by my available, which is 100 microgram. times 1 tablet, you're going to have 1 tablet. Okay? All right. So let's look at this one here. The doctor ordered 250 milligrams. See, that one is your order right there. We learned earlier that you are available and the quantity always goes together. So remember, your quantity for a liquid medication, it will be whatever number is there by ml. If there is no number beside ml, your quantity is 1. So in this case, my quantity is 5 and 125 milligram is my available. So they always goes together. So I'm gonna do my available it's milligram, my quantity, my order it's milligram, my available is milligram. You want it to be the same. So you're gonna do 250 milligram. I'm gonna divide that by 125 milligram. All right, and then the answer that I get, I'm gonna multiply that by 5 milliliter. So by doing like that, you got 250 divided by 125, it gives you 2. 2 times 5, it gives you 10 milliliters. So this is going to be 10 milliliter. Okay, so let's move on to the next one, and that's where we're going to end for today. All right, so let's look at here. You see, ibuprofen 400 milligram, but you do not have a tablet. You have a concentration. So you have to know, because you don't have a tablet, the doctor prescribes milligram. How many milliliter you will give? Whatever you're going to give is going to be equivalent to 400 milligrams. So we have that concentration here. So this milligram, that is your available. Then the milliliter, that is your quantity. You see that? Just make sure the milligram and that unit right there is the same. If not the same, it's your responsibility. Hey, you learned that. So in this case, what do? You remember your order equal. Your dosage is order divided by available time quantity. So my order equal 400 milligrams. See that? Divided by my available, which is 100 milligram. Now I'm going to multiply that by quantity, which is 5 milliliter. Easy. Those are easy stuff. It just requires, when you do 400 divided by 100, it gives you 4 times 5, you will have a 20 milliliter. It means whenever you give a 20 milliliter, dear friend, it means you are giving the equivalent of 400 milligram. Because you cannot give milligram, you have to find the quantity in the milliliter that will be equivalent to 400 milligram. All right. So let's look at here. The doctor prescribed 15 milligram of morphine. See that? There we go. So the doctor prescribed. So that one is your order. So your order right there is 15 milligram. Don't get yourself confused. Now, the bottle is labeled 20 milligrams / 5 ml. So 20 milligram is your available, 5 ml is your quantity. So I'm going to do 15 milligram, which is your order. I will go divide that by your available, which is 20 milligram. Whatever I get, I'm going to go multiply that by my quantity, which is 5 milliliter. All right, my friend. So 15 divided by 20, you got 0.75 times 5, you got 3.75 milliliter. So here, now if they ask you to run, if necessary, because you cannot draw 3.75, you will round that approximately to 3. What is this again? 3.8 milliliter. We got it? All right. Let's move on to the next one. So look at here. You see the problem. The doctor prescribed 0.5 gram. But look at over there. You got milligram. So gram, milligram does not match. So you have to convert either gram to milligram or convert milligram to gram. So because I love to multiply, I'm going to convert 0.5 gram to milligram. It will become 500 milligram. You got it? So 500 milligram, that is your order right there. I'm going to go divide that by my available. Remember, this bundle, they always goes together. So 250 milligram. Whatever answer I get, I'm going to multiply that by my quantity, 5 ml. So, here you're going to have a 2 milliliter. All right? So, let's move on here. The doctor prescribed a 40 milligram. The available, it's the vial contains 100 milligrams / 10 milliliter. It means they always goes together. So, your available and your quantity. Just make sure you got milligram there. You gotta make sure you got milligrams there. If it's not, you gotta. The common mistake is for students not to make sure they are the same unit. Remember, you're always gonna do what the doctor prescribed, which is 40 milligram. You would divide that or multiply by the quantity. If you divide by available, if you don't want to divide by available, you can multiply by quantity, then whatever you have, divide by available. But a lot of people love to divide by available first, then go multiply by quantity, which is 10 milliliter. Remember, your quantity always going to be in the milliliter. If it's not in the milliliter, it's in the ounce, you have to convert to that. Hear me well. Never your quantity is going to be in the milligram. Never, never. Never your available will be in the milligram. So now, available will be in the milliliter. So here, we got your order 40 milligram divided by your available, which is 100 milligram, and then multiply that by quantity. So when you got 40, you divide that by 100, you got 0.4, and once you multiply that by 10, you have a 4 milliliter right there. Let's look at the next one. The doctor prescribed a 50 milligram. Your available, the vial is labeled as a 50/1 ml. So that is your available, that is your quantity. So I'm going to do 50 milligram. That is what the doctor prescribed. I'm going to divide that by my available, which is 50 milligram. Then I'm going to multiply by quantity 1 milliliter. So here, you will give 1 milliliter. Let's move on here. So you can see they prescribe that TID. But how many milliliter require? It just a reminder, it's a single dose. Unless to say how many milliliter require per day. That one we're gonna take the frequency into consideration. But other than that, our order is 2 milligrams. So I do 2 milligram. Divide that by my available, 4 milligram. Remember, your available and quantity always goes together. Multiply that by 1 milliliter. So once you do that, 2 divided by 4, you know you're going to give half of ml, milliliter. All right, so look at here. The doctor prescribed a 75 of meperidine, 75 milligram right there. The supply is, I hope more you are reading, you see that they can use a different term to express the order, to express the available. So like here they say the supply is. So this right here, they always goes together. That is your available, that is your quantity. So I'm gonna do 75 milligram over 100 milligram, multiply that by 1 milliliter. So once you do 75 divided by 100, so you will have 0.75 milliliter. If they ask you, round it if necessary, because you cannot draw up to 0.75, you will round this to the nearest 10. Almost done. So let's look at here. The doctor prescribed 0.5 milligram. Your available is 1 milligram. Your quantity is 1 milliliter. So milligram of much, I'm going to do your order, 0.5 milligram. Divide that by your available, which is 1 milligram. Whatever answer you get, you multiply by 1 milliliter. You know milligram, you cancel out. So here you have 0.5 milliliter. All right, so two more. So the doctor prescribed 10 milligram. The available is 30 milligram slash 1 milliliter. So 10 milligram is your old. You will do 10 milligram. You will divide that by your available, which is 30 milligram. And then you're going to multiply by quantity, which is 1. And once you do 10 now, you go divide that by 30, my friend. You're going to have what? 10 now. Divide that by 30, you have a 0.3333. But if the question asks you round if necessary, this is the example. You're going to round that to the nearest 10. It will be 0.3 milliliter. Okay? All right. So you do. This is last question. Oh, just do it. Why you want to complain? Oh, do it, my friend. Oh, Mr. Z, I'm afraid. Why you are afraid for? Get your pen. Get your pen. Just get a pen. Just do it, my friend. Why you worry? You say, oh, are you afraid? No. We spend almost half an hour together. Why you be afraid for? I give you 1 minute to do that. Keep reading. You're doing good. Okay. The doctor ordered 5,000 units of heparin, subcutaneous, every 12 hours. Okay. The vial is 10,000 units slash ml. All right. How many milliliter will you administer in 24 hours? You see? Here they are asking you a daily value. Good job. So first of all, which one we say they always goes together? You say what? The order and the quantity. No, I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that. No, no. I didn't say that. I didn't say that your order goes together with your quantity. Why you say that? Oh, you cannot put word in my mouth that I didn't say. I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that. I say your available always goes together. This, your available, and that is your quantity. Always goes together. So what is this? Quantity. This is not your quantity. Oh, don't do that. I told you that your quantity always gonna be milliliter. Your quantity is your volume. You gotta go to milliliter. The order 5,000 units. That's what the doctor prescribed. So 5,000. Your order is 5,000 units. Your available is 10,000, and your quantity is what? 1 milliliter. But remember, we are looking what we're gonna give in 24 hours. You can either multiply the 5,000 by 2, Mr. Z, where the 2 come from, the frequency. Every 12 hours meaning 2 times. But remember, you don't multiply anything by frequency unless right here they ask you what would you give in 1 day, like that one. So I know 5,000 I'm giving it that 2 times a day. It means in 24 hours I'm giving it that 10. I will have a 10,000 units. So I will do my order, which is my 10,000 units. I divide by my available, which is 10,000 units, multiply by quantity 1 ml, which is 1 ml. All right, dear friend. So I hope this was something that can help you. So if you know someone that go to nursery school struggling with those stuff, want to learn how to do simple dosage calculation by using formula, you take this link and send that to your friend. This is how we can take care of each other. Until then, I'll see you next time, because we're gonna try to do the same thing, but we use now dimension analysis, which is the old way of canceling a unit without memorizing all those long formula. Be safe, and don't forget of take care of your friend and take care of each other. That's how we can make our community look better. Until next time, be safe. Bye bye.